Well, our strength is a quarterback, but our problem is we have two, and there's a quarterback controversy developing. We're going to have to select between Steve Young and Joe Montana.
The greatest NFL duo that absolutely despised each other just happened to be the most dominant tandem in football history. Two Hall of Famers who both wore the same uniform built a dynasty that redefined quarterback excellence. Yet they couldn't stand to be in the same room without wanting to throw something other than footballs. Here's how pure hatred between teammates created the most lethal QB room the NFL has ever seen. 5 years into the quarterback controversy, when tension reached its breaking point, the duo produced their most dominant season together. Joe Montana and Steve Young, arguably the two best quarterbacks to ever play for the San Francisco 49ers, absolutely hated each other, with Montana admitting, "If he doesn't hate me as much as I hate him, then there's something wrong." In 1991,
Steve, you can't play great championship football if players don't know, your own players don't know where you are. And so that was the ultimate example of no one knows where you are. It worked.
while Montana recovered from his elbow injury on the sideline, Young became the full-time starter and was named NFL MVP in 1992 and 1994, setting a new NFL record for passer rating at 112.8 during his 1994 campaign. Young led the league in passer rating 6 times and completion percentage 5 times. Montana completed 2,929 of 4,600 passes for 35,142 yards, with 244 touchdowns during his 49ers career. The numbers reveal their peak performance, yet this became the greatest quarterback controversy of all time, precisely because both men were performing at an elite level while despising each other behind the scenes. But what sparked this legendary hatred wasn't just competition. It was a clash of everything they represented. Montana embodied old-school leadership and ice-cold precision under pressure. The cool-headed veteran who'd already won 4 Super Bowls. Young represented the future of quarterback play with his athletic mobility and rocket arm. When Young arrived via trade in 1987, Montana immediately saw him as a threat to his legacy. The tension exploded during practice sessions where Young's scrambling ability made Montana's pocket passing style look outdated. Observers noted locker room meetings where the two quarterbacks would sit on opposite sides, refusing to make eye contact. Young later admitted he felt Montana was actively rooting against him during games, while Montana questioned whether Young had the mental toughness for championship moments. Think about Montana's comment that "I know I'm better than he is." Would you take Montana or Young in their prime? Comment your answer below. Now let's see how this rivalry reached its absolute breaking point. The feud erupted into open warfare after Montana returned from his elbow injury. Locker room rifts deepened over who should start, and Montana ultimately requested a trade. The psychological warfare intensified when trainers placed Montana's cleats in Young's locker, a deliberate provocation that crystallized years of simmering resentment. Montana demanded the chance to compete, insisting, "He wouldn't even let me compete for a job, and I know I'm better than he is." As Montana worked to recover, he claimed the coaching staff banned him from facilities during team meetings. The hatred reached its absolute peak when teammates were forced to pick sides in team meetings, creating what Young later described as an environment where veteran leadership completely broke down and the organization's championship culture hung by a thread. Young's teams averaged a higher margin of victory and 2.8 more points of offensive SRS compared with Montana's. But the real magic happened during their peak conflict years. Walsh embraced his self-created quarterback controversy heading into the 1988 season. Instead of naming a starter, he shared the workload between his two quarterbacks for the season's first 11 games. The psychological warfare pushed both men to unprecedented heights. For 10 games in 1988, the 49ers ran a 2-quarterback system that channeled mutual frustration into relentless execution. Yet this toxic dynamic produced their most dominant stretch together, as each quarterback knew every practice rep, every throw, every decision was being scrutinized by their greatest rival sitting just 10 feet away. The hatred became fuel. Montana played with something to prove against Young's athleticism. Young played with something to prove against Montana's legacy. Neither could afford to be outworked or outthought by the other. Decades later, their feud's ultimate resolution reveals the most profound truth about NFL greatness. Montana requested his trade to avoid locker room politics spilling onto the field, while Young went on to win his own Super Bowl championship, proving that their toxic dynamic had forged two complete quarterbacks who no longer needed each other to reach elite performance. The final confirmation came when Young's 49ers faced the Chargers in Super Bowl 29, and Montana publicly rooted for San Diego because he'd moved to the AFC. Their rivalry had transcended football entirely and become personal. Yet this hatred produced something unprecedented. From 1987 to 1994, the two future Hall of Famers spurred each other to remarkable heights, including 3 Super Bowl wins and 4 MVP awards. Their story shattered the myth that championship teams require harmony. Instead, it proved that elite performance can emerge from pure dysfunction when two legends refuse to let their rival outwork them. The greatest quarterback controversy in NFL history wasn't just about who was better. It was about how hatred between teammates can forge a dynasty that neither could have built alone. What their feud ultimately revealed is that the NFL's understanding of team chemistry was incomplete. Greatness doesn't require love, only relentless refusal to be outperformed. Subscribe for more NFL stories that challenge what you think you know. Click on the screen for more videos to watch.